La 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 la. Da, 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 da. Frida! Happy Friday, y'all. We are live. Yes, live. Frida! There's a lot of people who are live right now. Holy shit. Hey, what's up, William? How you doing, brother? Holy shit. There's a lot fucking going on right now. Romania and Moldova report a mysterious Chinese weather balloon, so I guess it's not so goddamn mysterious. Good Lord, this is fucking stupid. You hear about Russia being the one that, being the ones who are being blamed for invading Alaska? Yeah, shit's getting fucking interesting, man. Whoa. Murder. Huh. He must have done fucked up pretty bad. Hello. Welcome to the Freedom Forum. Show yourselves in. Have a nice time. Have fun. Welcome to everybody. It's very nice to meet you all. Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes. It's very nice to meet you all. Yes. Shut. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes. Jesus wept. Won't let me fucking function the phone, so it sounds like, echo. Go. Fucking assholes. Screw tube. You pieces of shit. So, I am coming off of an all-nighter, just working my ass off. Been writing and editing and shit and getting my book set up to be able to release Sky Knight. If you didn't know, I was able to get Barnes and Noble to stop dragging their feet so much. So now, well, not now, but very soon, I will be releasing Sky Knight in its ebook format. And then shortly thereafter, I'm pretty sure it's going to be released in the paperback and hardback format, in print. So there's that. Lots of fun shit. And that's just Sky Knight, mind you. Then I'm going to continue on forwards. It's going to take several weeks of doing this because I'm the editor. I'm the freaking author. I'm the this, the that, and the other. And it's all being put together by me and then almost self-published, like by a minute. They're letting me use their fucking. They're letting me use their company as a platform. That's it. Barnes and Nobles is publishing my book. That's it. They're the publisher. That's it. There's no editors other than me. There's no writers other than me. The inspiration is was done by well, I keep on touting him out there and saying, go check out his book because he's a really good dude. But Mutt here on the YouTubers, Celtic Mutt, he's the feller that inspired my book. So thank you very much for for being friendly and for working with me and being a genuinely good friend who saw what I was doing and didn't say, you know what, no, that's fucking plagiarism, you can't do that, because you recognized, hey, it's your efforts, nobody else is doing what you're doing it. Thank you, man. Really. I mean, I appreciate you for what you did, and I appreciate you for what you wrote. I bought your book. I read it all the way through. I was like really just amazed by it. And after buying it, it made me more reinforced in the idea of doing my own series, because doing just an add-on or a universe book, a fanfic or something like that would have been more disingenuous. So I left the original post up there, and that's the one that you keep with your stuff. That's if you want that adaptation of my book for like a small in-universe kind of thing, that's up to you, brother. But anyways, thanks. Much thanks. Hey, cuz, how you doing? Good to see you. So yeah, I'm working on the book. It's getting there. My third eye is itching. Ugh. You know what that means? If my third eye is itching, that means there's some shit on its way. I was sitting there and I was thinking, China and Russia, North Korea, the spy balloons, the fucking Russian aircraft, the fact that I've seen people who were actual Chinese special forces here in America, it was a few years back, but still, they could have stayed in America or they could have gone back and then come back here. One of the things that I've always said was that, in the event of a superpower or a near peer conflict, special forces would vacation into place so that they were in theater and ready to mobilize the moment that the actual command came down, and then they could take control of certain aspects within the said country, and then they turn around and the main body of the army, navy, what have you, of that particular near peer would then invade the country via the beachhead that is already established. See, it's kind of like what we did in World War II. That was the main goal of the paratroopers, was to establish a deep penetration to where, certain aspects of the inside of the lands could be controlled to create a better and more opportune beachhead for the landing forces. So, it's basic freaking Eisenhower battle economics. Put your guys into theater that are going to do the hard part first, and then the guys that you need in order to control the area can just waltz in. They don't even have to fight. That was something that I believe it was the time it was Brigadier General Hammer, or was it Colonel? Might have been a colonel. He was actually talking at West Point, and that's one of those things you can look up. There's Hammer, there was McKinley, there was what's his fuckers? God, my brain ain't always on that point, but I'm just saying there were a lot of guys who are bigwigs in the military, former military planners that literally planned battlefields, said, hey, this is what's the most likely to happen, and we're doing nothing about it, and it's the greatest threat. Why are we giving a fuck about a nuclear sponge when there is a greater threat of infiltration and then invasion due to that infiltration than any nuclear way? You see what I'm saying? You think that America is going to be invaded like a conventional invasion? You're nuts, in my opinion. All right. Parachutists coming in and dropping in, they get stopped by police officers the moment they fucking hit the ground. Even if they have a permit, even if they're legal to do it right here in America, you go out, you get your skydiving permit, you dive with an instructor a few times, and then you can dive on your own. That being said, you still have to have the permit. You still have to have the flight plan and the jump, plan set up and there. Otherwise, you'll get arrested because they don't know who the fuck you are. So, in that sense, nobody's going to go parachuting in. If you're special forces, you're not going to parachute into a possible hostile engagement, or your theater of operations for that matter. No, you're going to make it look as normal as any other fucking day. Plain and simple. Just regular old fucking run of the mill. Oh, I'm just here for I wanted to go and see the Statue of Liberty and the Golden Gate Bridge and Mount Rushmore and Really? That's all you're here for, huh? Says here you are registered PLA, known PLA. Can we be assured that you're not going to do anything untoward while on American soil, as would create an international incident? No, it's not going to be a problem. Don't worry, I'm just here to go and see the vacation spots. And then they come in and they don't even show up at fucking Mount Rushmore. They don't even show up at Ellis. They don't even show up at fucking the Golden Gate. They just disappear into the crowd. And I mean, that was the start of it. Once they had key positions to where they could make it possible to be able to allow for those other leaks and infiltrations, then that didn't even need to be a problem anymore. It became so much of they could leave and these other people were already here. Then those other people that are already here divert resources and create new incursion opportunities. Those new incursion opportunities then create a cascade effect. There you go. The United States has been invaded. You just don't know it yet. And no, we've been invaded in a manner of not just military age men are already here. Military operators are already here and in theater and in action. In case you were wondering. Yes, that's the case. It's not pretty and nobody likes to fucking look at it because they're all too busy dealing with their own freaking jobs and shit. But when you're actually on the ground, when you're looking at it from the ground level, from the gutter, where you're watching other people walking around completely fucking oblivious, and you're the fucking, you're the gutter rat that's sitting there watching these idiots, and then you see this other dude running around and fucking cutting telephone wires and, running through the backwoods and shit, and you're like, what? Nobody's doing shit about these people. Oh, man, I gotta keep my mask on, otherwise the COVID can catch me. Gotta avoid the Asian people, because they carry the COVID disease. Look over here. Don't look at what I'm about to. Bam! Lights out. You see how that works? That's why I says these motherfuckers knew it was coming. And they were so deep in bed with these people, they just let it happen. They just let it happen. Citing equality. Saying it's not right to discriminate. It's illegal to ask somebody for their identification. No, you dumb son of a bitch. It's necessary. And I just outlined why. Do you understand why, whenever I'm pulled over by a police officer or a police officer sits there and says, "Can I see your ID?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, here you go." Without even a thought in my mind. Because I'm an American. I'm not afraid of them IDing me. If I were a Chinese person or a Russian or, an illegal immigrant of any kind, I might be a little bit more leery about that. Food for thought. Do you know how many of these operators are caught every year and just let back out on the streets? When I was in jail, there was a guy on my cell block. Literally. PLA. On my fucking cell block. Go ahead and tell me why that was the case. He was on my cell block, but this motherfucker should have been in Gitmo. Not in the medical ward of, Banning jailhouse. So, what the fuck? And that's why, as I says, you need to be training. I need to fucking be training. I need to have money to operate in my life, so that's why I'm even doing this, selling my book and whatnot. Because the series isn't complete, and it could take a long fucking time to write a whole series of books. And that's why I'm on this level of I'm not quite ready for this shit to come down, But at the same time, I ain't scared. I ain't running from it. If it comes my way, to the woods we go, and we shall play. Hello. What is this? What is this? Backwoods. What do you know? Yo, Backwoods is alive. He's doing a hangout for an hour. Like I says, everybody is literally on the web right fucking now. We're all here. Tanya's on New York Times, NBC News, PDF's even on. The Times again, fucking, they got like 3 or 4 of them running. CNN is even live. Like, them motherfuckers are even got. There's 3,000 people watching CNN. Holy shit. Oh my God, there's that many stupid motherfuckers out there. There's 864 people watching the Times. There's some really stupid people out there. I mean, it'd be one thing if, like they're over there at Tanya's or, they're at Backwoods or, the fucking Times, man. The fucking Times. There's some funny shit. Fox News. Fox has got the Alex Murdaugh double murder trial going. That's fucking funny. Beijing, according to CNN, the Commie News Network, U.S. rejects Beijing's claim that it flew balloons over China. I don't even think we have. There's no point in it. Why? Why break international law in order to fucking spy on those idiots when we can fly our satellites right over the top of them? I mean, we do it all the fucking time. And that's not breaking the international law. So there. Hi, April Showers. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. And yeah, I haven't really been over at your place in a while either. That's kind of my dumbass. I do apologize. Been writing my book and really busy, so again, I'm sorry that I haven't been over there more than once, I honestly mean no offense. Blaine, you fucking dumbass. I tripped. I blame the yips. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. Oh, they're all empty. Oh, well. I needed some Java. Anyways. Coffee. Whoa! You know those days when you just feel like You're wondering where the truck is that hit you? Like, you're asking your neighbors, hey, bud, did you get the license plate off that truck? Yes. All right. There we go. Good job. Good old fashioned 90 weight oil boil. Holy shit, that thing's as fucking solid as titanium. There we go. What a pain in the ass. So here we are, the Friday Freedom Forum. It is 6:35, 7:35. Yeah, 7:35. Pacific Northwestern time. Well, Pacific Standard Time. Actually, I'd say it'd be more Pacific Western Time because Pacific Standard Time is Los Angeles, California to about Arizona. Right? 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 Yeah. Yeah. Man, I've forgotten more things than most people will remember in their lifetimes. I blame the drain bramage. It wasn't me, I swear. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. Oh, some of the dumb shit I get up to. Am I boring you, mate? Go ahead and just brighten my day up here just a little bit. Yeah, straight up 90 weight. Fuck the bullshit. Nice. So, y'all gotten that squirrel catapult yet? I want to see somebody have with a squirrel catapult on a live stream. That shit would be fucking hilarious. And the only reason why I haven't done it is because in my neck of the woods, that's animal cruelty. And people would be coming out of the fucking woodwork trying to take away everything from me. You can't do that! You poor squirrel! What did the squirrel ever do to you? Well, I'll tell you what the little bastard did to me. He fucking chewed a hole in my roof and he fucking went and got into my chicken coop and started eating all their food. Fuck that little bastard. So anyways, any Hoosiers, as it were, I think I will go ahead and open up the old Freedom Forum here. Just remember, if I do not know your face, you will not be allowed up here. If I do know your face, you will be allowed up here. And that is only because I am attempting to protect whatever fucking channel I got left, which ain't much. So there's that. Whoa. Nuggets of insanity for Houdini. Hey there, Snooze Fest. On mornings. Response? Ja? There you go. Ja, ist gut. And that's the Who. You're a good boy. Yeah, man, ho, just good. Du Thailander, ja? Stop for him. Don't worry, buddy. Things are only going to get more crazy. I know, mate. I agree. So yeah, I'm working on the book. It should be out coming up here in a little while. First and foremost, I have to do the upload of Skyknight to my Reddit and to the Landa Vegiel. You're the stoffer. Got the upload to do. And Reddit's going to be having that for about 2 weeks prior to the release of Skyknight in stores. That's the idea. So I went through and I was working through how to publish books through Barnes and Noodles, and I've pretty much worked out how to do that, so that's not going to be an issue. And like I said, release date's coming up here pretty soon. Jawohl. Hey, get down. You're shredding my clothes, dog. Again, ripping my shit up. Hell. Good morning, Vernonia. Question is, there we go. A little bit. Winning. So, Oh, it's a bird. I thought for a second it's another fucking chipmunk. Nine, best all things wonder. You go be a who? Go be a do. As per usual, such is my life before taxes. And here we are. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to talk at y'all about. There's some stupid right there. Taxes. I said it a couple years back. I believe I made a shorts video about this. Where's the money coming from, Biden? Back in 2020, I says, where's the money coming from? For all this stimulus check shit. Oh, don't worry. We have it in our national budget to be able to supply the American people with the necessary funds in order to get us through this dark time. Really? So why is it showing up in my taxes, asshole? You know what I got to say to that motherfucker? Go smoke a stick of dynamite, you fucktard. God, I hate stupid. And that's stupid on display. I mean, the blatant lies. I have a rule about lying. Don't. Because lies get people killed. And that's a reality. They get people killed. Whether it's a lie of omission or it's a lie of factual, blatant, outright, bold-faced lie. It doesn't matter. Lies get people killed. They can cause dangerous things to come about. Harmless lies, little white lies, little fibs that, you tell your significant other. You don't think that doesn't piss them off? And I'm the number one man to tell you, stress is a killer. It will, not it can, it will kill you. It's just a matter of time. So therefore, no stress. Don't worry. Be happy. Well, don't worry, be happy. It's all right. Shut up, Stu. I know you weren't over there, Who. You're all right. Bird, I am going to turn your ass into a pillow. Stop. I've never had an animal actually beg me to kill it before. You hear that, right? Bird, your ass is Campbell's. Let's be clear. That's your value to me. Sitting there crowing at the top of your goddamn fucking mind. That ain't. That ain't of any value to me. In fact, it detracts from the value. I don't know what your problem is. I just fed you yesterday. Fed you, watered you. Made sure that there was still somewhere to be able to sit and you don't fucking sit on the floor, so that's not another issue. Kept the dog out and freaking out the coop to keep you from going nuts. Still, just making sure. Chicken noodle snoop. So yeah. I'm going to be, I'm just taking a break right now because my brain is, off in la la land somewheres. My head's had enough. I can't even think straight. So, I mean, you'll notice I didn't even bring my coffee out here with me. I'm lost. And that's mostly to do with the fact that it's been a long ass night and I've been sitting there working my tail off. But I figured, I ain't said nothing to y'all all week. I might as well come out and say hi. What's up? Hi. My grandma used to say, hi. Bird, just shut the fuck up. I got a headache now. Crawling his fucking bullhead off. I'm tired. I'm real tired. Oh. Ah. I can see that nobody wants to see my ugly mug. I'm good with that. Why would you want to hang out with my dirty ass, anyways? I mean, I'm not exactly a dirty man. I joke about that shit, just so as you know. Then don't do that. Duh. You're the one who stepped on a stick. That ain't my fault. Oh, dang it. So, in the Hoosiers, it's another beautiful morning. Not really. Um, it's overcast and dreary and cold, and a good morning to me. Went around last night and I picked up, or this morning really, picked up a bunch of sticks and stuck them in the old fireplace and got that sucker rolling. So at least the inside of the house is warm. You know, it's one of those be happy sort of situations. Stop eating cigarette butts. Yeah, you heard me. That's not okay. Oh, I'm gonna knock you stupid. You think you funny? Ugh. See, there's another scary thought about Red Dawn, about this whole shit show that's happening right in front of our eyes. And that is, most people don't realize this. It's only those, my viewers that are either historians or, the uh, military inclined or former military for that matter, or folks who train like me is, a Minuteman with an absolute dedication. You don't think about it, but most folks, they don't realize that military, if they were to invade, like in the D-Day sense, um, it would be most of them would just wake up dead. I don't know. I don't know. What's with all the freaking live streams this morning. Ah, welcome to ScrewTube, StreamYard. Yes, sir. I mean, like you understand, you realize what's going on. You're awake from 3 a.m. in the morning till 8 a.m. in the morning every morning, and you can't understand why, except for the fact that that's how it was back when you were in the military. Newsflash, that's when most operations happen. So, that's why I'm saying, William, is that most folks don't think like that. They think, oh, well, I need those extra couple of hours of sleep, instead of thinking, that's when, if this shit was to happen, it would happen. And nobody's going to be awake for that shit. So they'd wake up in the morning and, it'd look like a normal ass fucking day. And then they'd turn on their television or what have you, and it would look like, any other fucking day because they got the propaganda stream running hot. But, a lot of their neighbors and whatnot would wake up dead. And that's just a reality. A lot of politicians would be gone, and nobody would be able to say why. Just other than there's these new politicians in place that are obviously under the thumb of some foreign government. I mean, if we were to really look at the text and tradition of Red Dawn, it would it be paratroopers landing in your backyard of the school, as school children are sitting there starting their school day. Mm-mm. It would be about 3, maybe 4 in the morning. A group of individuals shows up to a house, all blacked out, in an SUV that's all blacked out, with enough firepower to rip that house apart. They go in quietly and they execute the inhabitants, and then they disappear as if they never were. And that is a fucking scary thought, but that's the actual text and tradition of the Red Dawn scenario. You wouldn't have a chance to run. That's my point. You wouldn't even have a chance to react. At least for somebody who's asleep and, sleeping that 3 a.m. to 3 a.m. to about 6, maybe 7 a.m. tops, maximum. The point in time where everybody, well, almost everybody, is asleep. That's just operational doctrine. That's operational prudence. It wouldn't be like in the movies. You know what's funny is the inspiration for the opening scene in my book actually is the text and tradition of Red Dawn, the real scenario put down and put forth by U.S. military planners back in the 1960s. That's the real text and tradition right there. And it opens as, I'm just sitting there doobly doing on the internets or whatnot on the interwebs. It's dark outside, and my neighbors are just waking up to hearing gunshots and shit happening, and they're not really paying attention, and they're waking up to people breaking into their houses and shit, and it's all the way around. And it's like specifically individuals who are like me, like-minded individuals like me. That's what this scenario starts as, is a Red Dawn scenario. And then it plays into other aspects of survival, really. Yeah, I can't sleep at night. I mean, I haven't been able to since I was a kid, but I normally back then I would go to sleep at about midnight, whether or not. But nowadays it's I'll be going to sleep here in a couple of hours, maybe. Start to warm up just a little bit. That's weird as fuck for me. You know, it's like my non-circadian rhythm tends to follow along the lines of what my previous experiences are because my subconscious mind is constantly trying to improve my survivability, which inevitably has an effect on my overall well-being. Food for thought, you know. So yeah, I look at all this that's happening and I'm just like, here it comes. Yesterday morning, first thing I did, I woke up, I come out here, I had my cup of coffee, and I took a shot at the tree. First thing. Nothing, everything else was just fucking water, bridge water. Come out, have my cup of coffee, get my head on straight, take at least one shot at the tree. I have one. Didn't you know? Taking down trolls. Bye. um, no, but in a real sense, my job is a lot more nuanced than just that. Now that's something that I did too. Although we're in a paying job, nobody wants to keep me around for a paying job for 10 years. That's my experience talking. That's not, you know, me playing the damn pity party or any of that bullshit. Real shit. I had a construction job for a month when I was 18. You know, I was the best damn man on that crew. You know, I worked as a fucking security guard for 14 fucking years. I mean, let me put it this way. Would you want to walk on somebody's private property and then see this face standing right in front of you with a gun pointed at your head saying, motherfucker, you got 5 seconds. Bye bye. Just saying. I did pretty good. I had a pretty good job for what it was. Not being paid, but getting free rent, getting for this, that, and the other taken care of because the individual could. You know, it was a barter instead of a paycheck. Considering the facts, I would have stayed with it. However, I can't handle that kind of heat. If you didn't know, my job was down in Blythe, California. Uh, it was great because it gave me accessibility to do the other things that I do. But you're right. SSI ain't living. It is insurance for those who are physically disabled to a point where they cannot hold a job, or mentally disabled for that matter, which I don't necessarily agree with. But there you go. In case you're wondering, yes, I am physically disabled. Holding this particular thing on my back is quite a bit of effort put out. And this is only 15 pounds. I'm not physically disabled so much as I'm physically handicapped, which qualifies me for the same. I was on SSDI. There's a little difference there, if you didn't know. SSDI is for those who are physically disabled, and it is a supplementary insurance for times where you cannot hold down a job, you do not have an income. It'll still pay the bills. It'll still keep you afloat. That does not mean that you are not poor as the day is fucking long. It just means that it keeps you from going so far into debt because you gave so much already, working and whatnot, that, it's that little bit of you put in. So here's, some back. You're absolutely right in saying that SSI is not a job. I do not personally think that SSI is a job. I think that it is payment for something I did a long time ago. I worked really hard towards. And then after I got hurt doing basically what any human being on this earth should do in an instance like such, that's pretty much how I ended up there. I fought back against somebody who was a home invader. All right. And I nearly lost my life because of it. So saying, well, SSI is not a job. No, it's not. However, some people do qualify for it. Yes, that's true, William. We do. Me, most assuredly, because I had it happen to me when I was down in San Pedro. When I was about 19 years old. That was really the first time I had a bullet clip the wall next to my head, and first real time I actually had a bullet coming towards me that was intent on harming me. The person behind the bullet was intent on harming me. You just had fucking horrible ass aim. That's how that works. Thank you. I appreciate that. Honestly, cousin, I do appreciate that. But yeah, as I was saying, I was living down in San Pedro, and some punks decided to rob a fucking convenience store. As I happened to be walking around the corner that the convenience store opened up to. And because I looked like, just some young punk at the time, and I was walking away, they couldn't be certain if I was one of the other individuals. So they took shots at me. I got myself behind a low garden wall and pulled, an individual who was actually walking with me at the time behind that garden wall. And we had those bullets come fucking sailing right overhead. And to me, that was one of those instances in life where I was like, I just got fucking lucky. And shortly after that, that's when I got my construction job. And shortly after I lost my construction job, that's when I joined the militias. So, in case you're wondering about timeline, that's the timeline of my life. But yeah, the shit that I've been through, man, I don't wish that on anybody. I just know it's coming for a lot of us. Probably coming for me again. gives me the upset rumblies, you know. Imagining that, you know, I watched that poor kid drop who ran across the street rather than trying to hunker down behind the, you know, the garden wall with us. He died right there, you know. And that's why I said, you know, I got lucky. I got very fucking lucky. I was closer than that kid across the street was. So when it comes down to it, just by a simple mistake, I almost got my ass fucking plugged and put 6 feet under. A simple fucking mistake, mind you. I was not there robbing that fucking convenience store. I didn't even walk inside of the convenience store. I had literally walked around the outside of the door, and these fuckers come bursting out behind us. You know, and I turned around and looked, and then I heard the 2 gunshots from inside, and that told me on my brain, you know, move the fuck out of Dodge, get out of here. So I run around the outside of this little garden wall, and I start to go and hunker down, and I hear, and then I heard another one, which honestly that's the eeriest fucking noise I've ever heard. It was just a yeah. I heard bullets too, dude. See, he's heard bullets whiz around him. No, I know that. It was a matter of, you know, you saw it in one instance, I saw it in another, and I just need to put out there that I did not see it in actual combat sort of a thing. You know, I was never in the military. I just had that backing of the militia. And the difference is that my instances of experience, they predate my militia time, as well as, you know, post dated. Actually, the injury where I'm, you know, it makes me so it's hard for me to lift 15 pounds above my head. That particular injury came right as I was trying to segue from one to the other. And I've told you that story before. It's just you know, the way that life is, man. Experiences don't wait for you to be ready for them. They come, they happen. That's why this is here, you know, at all times. It's on my back. It's because experiences aren't waiting for you, they are coming. And if you're not willing to be ready to handle those experiences might end up swatting you pretty fucking hard. You know, so there's, in a nutshell, why I, you know, part of why I am the way I am. Experiences don't wait; they happen. I mean, you could stay inside your house for your entire fucking life, be one of these snow farts, you know, and you're still gonna have experiences happen to you. You're still gonna have glass break at your house. You're still gonna have those instances of, you know, that you see things on the TV and it affects your mind. It's still going to happen. You're still going to have the experiences. It's just a matter of you did not go out and see if those, you know, discern for yourself if those experiences were just yours or everyone's. So you expected that they must be everybody's experience. That's one of the big reasons why you know, I look at some of these idiots and I say, man, you got to get a life. And when I say get a life, I'm not trying to insult people. I'm trying to put out there, hey, go get some life experience. Get out, get about, go do things. Learn what actually is around you and surrounds your life.
Yeah. Well, first day of deer season is always interesting. Um, I had one time I was out there in Blythe and deer season had just started, and I'd gotten all my, my hunting license and my all my tags registered up, set up, and whatnot. And this was back when I could still go and hunt with a firearm. And so I tried to borrow a shotgun to go and hunt deer in this one particular area where it was shotguns only. And that little hunt, I tell you what, it was one of the scariest fucking things that ever happened to me, man. More so than being shot at, more so than being stabbed and almost dying. That one fucking scared the ever loving Jesus out of me because I was sitting on one side of the deer herd, and this guy didn't even know I was there because I mean, you're not paying attention to that shit. You're out there thinking you're the only fucking cheese waz in the middle of the fucking bumfuck Egypt, especially on the fucking Colorado River. Ain't nobody else out there, man. Especially not during shotgun season. Everybody's going out there for bow season. So I thought, well, I'm sitting there. And I hear this, and I watched the fucking tree next to my head. Like, couldn't have been more than I could have reached out and touched this tree. It was about that big around, and that fucker just exploded and fell over. And so I ain't gonna lie, I ain't too proud to say this. The reality is that when you have that moment where you see Christ, um, more than likely it's going to cause you to soil yourself. Yeah, I pissed myself. I'll be honest, I did. Yeah, a lot of people do that. The first time they ever actually get shot at, and you know, it's really something. You recognize that you got shot at versus, these noises that are around your head that don't really click, but you know that could have just killed you. Whatever. It's a whole different story when you see a tree fucking explode right in front of your face and you're laying there, you're not moving, you're not doing shit, but you see that tree explode and you're like, oh God, please don't let the next one be me. you know, that's how I used to hunt. I lied prone like a snake in the grass. That's the way I hunted. I looked at it as if I don't look like a human, more than likely I'm not going to end up, missing my quarry. That herd of deer was all around me, man. I mean, all around me. I had deer behind me. I had deer in front of me. When that freaking shotgun went off, whoo, that whole herd took to fucking running, and I swear to God, they I almost got stomped. I had one come literally right up my ass. I got lucky again. I've always had that kind of just stupid luck. Like, this shouldn't be. This is impossible. This ain't right. Why am I this lucky? And then I look at it. I look back at it. And I'm just like, thank you, thank you. Whatever is out there, God or whatever. Thank you, because I'm still alive. No interdimensional spirit hopping. I don't give a fuck. The moment that the gunshot went off and tree got hit, I was like, I'm lucky I'm still breathing. So I raised, I took my little orange handkerchief that I had at the time, those handkerchiefs you get at hunter safety course. They have your whole, the rules of hunter safety on this blaze orange handkerchief, and it's all written out there and little pictograms and whatnot, so you can see what, at a glance what you're looking at. Yeah, I took that, wrapped it around the tip of the shotgun, and took the shotgun up and waved it back and forth, laying on the ground. I was holding onto the freaking butt of the shotgun, waving that sucker back and forth. And this dude literally called out, "Oh, fuck, I'm sorry, bro." Oh, man. That scared the shit out of me, I tell you. But yeah, that is the life of a still hunter. You are more than likely going to end up getting shot at by a spot and stock hunter, just because they're not necessarily, realizing that you're there, especially if you're like me and you like going out in full camouflage, because you realize that deer can see solids. They can see solid shapes. They can see things like blaze orange. That's actually a spectrum they can see. I learned that, and I learned it the hard way. I've had more than one deer crest the top of a hill, take 4 steps down, pick its head up, look at me with that blaze orange fucking cap on, turn around and go right back up and over the top of the hill. So, yeah, blaze orange, that's bullshit. I'm just going to say that. The only reason for it is safety, because we can see it too. And that's why I carry, marker tape or some other kind of blaze orange something or red something I can take out and signal with. Otherwise, I'm in full camo. And I learned that specifically through my dad going out and deer hunting with a bow. We used to go and walk around, deer hunt and whatnot. And well, he would deer hunt. I'd just be along for the ride because I like hanging out with my dad. But this one day, we're out there and it's still rifle season, all right? But he's out there with his bow and full fucking camo from head to foot. He's got on freaking, he's got, a pea stepper on each boot. He's got me rigged out the same pretty much, no blaze orange whatsoever on either of us, no retro reflectives, no nothing. Okay. We go out into the woods and we're sitting there on the side, side of a hill, and he goes to full draw, and I'm not even seeing the deer that he's drawing on, but he's at full draw and he's looking down that shaft and he's sitting there like, my dad used to shoot instinctive when we went hunting. He's looking down that thing, and all of a sudden that deer dropped and he didn't let go of the bow. And he just went. And I looked over, and this couple, man and wife, walked out of the woods and took his deer that he was sitting there full drawing on. They hadn't seen us. We'd seen them, and the deer had seen them, and that's why they were walking towards us. And that's what my dad explained to me. And I was like, well, why did they see them? And he said, orange cap. That's an honest hunting story. Really did happen. All right. He almost got a shot on a deer that day because the deer were being driven towards us by some rifle hunters that were out there. If y'all don't know this, archery season and rifle season kind of actually overlap a little bit in up in Utah. And so when you're up there hunting in the northern Utah area, I don't know if it's changed since then, but I know that, when I was there, this is how it was. If you were hunting with a bow, you didn't have to carry the blaze orange exposed. But if you had a rifle, you had to have blaze orange on. It was illegal to shoot without the blaze orange. So my dad would actually just go and deer hunt with a bow rather than the rifle, because even though, yeah, he could make the shot with the rifle and make it count and be good with it, he was more inclined to be stealthy and actually see what he's shooting at, because that's what he was big on. He was always big on gun safety and all that because he grew up around guns, grew up hunting, grew up fishing, outdoorsy shit. And he wanted to instill that kind of knowledge in me. I noticed that, and I recognize that. Some folks don't recognize that, and it kind of bothers me a little bit. But I digress. I'll just say that it was a real wake up call for me, and furthermore, going out and doing coyote hunts on my own, having that blaze orange attached to my backpack. Just the little bit poking out, I had just dog after dog after dog just turn on me and, yip once and turn. And anybody who's ever hunted coyotes knows what that is. That yip once and turn, they run off. They saw you. Dogs are sight predators. Most folks, they say, "Oh no, they're scent predators. They are persistent scent predators." They're not. They are persistent sight predators, like we are. The difference is that their eyesight's just a little bit less than ours. Little bit. They have way better night vision than we do. Their color vision, it's roughly the same. A little bit more dull. Not as much. But they can see color just like we can. They can see movement just like we can out of the corner of our eyes. So, when you're out hunting predators, you got to really tack that down. But you're out hunting deer can still see that. They still see all spectrums of light. It's just a matter of they see UV light differently. So it makes some colors more vivid. It makes some non-colors more vivid. You ever notice how when you're, a white sheet of paper looks different inside than outside? That's UV light. You can see it too. You just don't recognize that you can see it, because we humans see color so vividly. You can see UV light. Ultraviolet light is supposed to be an invisible spectrum, but when it has a reflective surface that you're looking at, it enhances the reflectivity of that surface. So say you've got white light around you, that's visible light, but then on top of that you've got ultraviolet light, and that creates that reflective surface to be enhanced. And the way that you can do this experiment right at your own home is on a sunny day. Inside your house, have all of your... I said no. What the hell is that? Knock it off, dude. Dog out. Oh, anyways, this is what I was saying. You have all your curtains closed, okay? And take a sheet of paper, you turn on a light, a light source in your house. It could be an incandescent, it could be an LED, but you should use one of the soft white LEDs, just because of the fact that LEDs do give off ultraviolet light. So it's kind of hard to see the difference here. But if you take that piece of paper and you hold it up in front of that LED light or that incandescent light, you'll see that the paper itself, you can tell it's white. Okay. It looks white, but it's still got this kind of yellowish orange tinge to it. Now you walk outside in the bright sunlight with that piece of paper and you look at that paper again, you can barely look at it. And the reason being is that there's so much ultraviolet light bouncing back from that piece of paper at you from the little tiny air pockets in the piece of paper that it burns your eyes. It's much brighter because it's got that extra spectrum being bounced back at you. It's not being absorbed by the paper. And the reason why paper is reflective is specifically because of the little tiny holes in it. That's why black paper even has a sheen to it. When you look at a piece of black construction paper in light, you'll notice that it has this almost mirror-like sheen on it. Looks like little tiny jewels, orange jewels on the piece of paper under a regular light. Take that outside, you'll see that those little jewels look like little white jewels. And that's just the little tiny microscopic air pockets in the paper. But any Hoosiers, that's an experiment you can do to be able to tell if you can see ultraviolet light or not. Human beings can see ultraviolet. We can't see infrared. At least the high infrared and the medium infrared, we can't see that spectrum. We can see, we can see, I got that backwards. We can see high infrared and medium infrared. We can't see low infrared. Low infrared spectrum is what most IR night vision goggles use, and what FLIR uses. They use low and medium infrared, so that's why when you see the infrared lights on a security camera or something, you can see the little minute red glow in it, and it looks kind of bluish around the outside of it. That's because you can see that spectrum of infrared, but it's not the kind that is one that you can really see all that well. You see high infrared much easier than you see medium or low infrared, and that's why medium and low infrared are used for infrared goggles, as it were. FLIR uses low. Your standard infrared devices uses they use the medium spectrum or the low spectrum, depending on. Yeah, ultraviolet. You can see in ultraviolet. That's one of the reasons why at night, with no light around you, you can still see shapes and shadows. Not necessarily be able to tell distances so much, but you can see shapes and shadows. And that's mostly because the visible light spectrum is gone, but there's still ultraviolet light being reflected from the atmosphere. That's one of the things about infrared light. Ultraviolet light is it gets trapped by our atmosphere and reflected back onto the Earth. Starlight tends to be so far away that if you were to, only use, if our bodies only used visible light, we wouldn't be able to see by starlight. But because of the fact that we can see ultraviolet, we can see at night. And that is actually what starlight scopes work off of, is visible and ultraviolet and high infrared. They enhance the visible, ultraviolet, and high infrared spectrums so that your eyes can actually pick up what it is at a distance. In case you're wondering. Physics, they're fucking awesome, man. So, yeah, there we go. Mind not interrupting me, dude? Oh. Yeah. Last of the Mo Squeakins here. Till my book sells or something. Oh well. I just got to keep on keeping my fingers crossed and hoping and praying things work out. I think I've already released Sky Knight once in the past, long time ago, back when I first started writing the book, but it was not as in depth as it is now. And it wasn't a series, it was just one book. So, yeah, it's been actually several years. And I've had this banging around inside my head. Been able to actually go and use it, that's a blessing and a curse. Most folks aren't willing to do something until they have the particular need to do it. So there's that. What are you chewing? Something you're not supposed to, right? That's what I thought. That's dinner. Oh, damn it, dog. I can't leave you alone for 5 seconds. Unless you're locked up inside. Just lets me know how that's going to work when I have to train with him. No fucking downtime. None. Huh? As I said, last of the Mo Squeakins. All right. Well, this here stream was a bit of a bust. Where the fuck do you think you're going? That's what I thought. Park it. Stolford. Oh. Damn it. I'm getting too old for this up and down shit. Excuse me. Hey. Oh, Hej, du där Lennart. Stå för en. Ja, let's talk. Oh, that's a hell of a thought. The ebooks I'm gonna probably set in the cheaper range. Oh, the cheapest range. Something like, I don't know, like $3.99, something like that. The paperback will probably be up there around $10-15, something like that. And then the hardback, because that's an option, I guess. If I sell enough, that's an option. The hardback will be an option. If they go to a hardback with it, then it will be somewhere's in the 20s. It's right now, as far as pages are concerned, there's 16 chapters to each book, at least 7 or at least 6 pages in each chapter. And that's, you know, that's being liberal with it. So, I didn't want to say that. Yeah. Just fucking stupid. Wish I didn't even have to sell them. Honest. Wish I could just give it out for free. You know, like the Scholastic program here. Here's free books. Yeah. I can, but I can't, if you know what I mean. It's a matter of gotta eat to live. One must earn a living. I mean, when I look at it, Social Security ain't fucking doing for me. Social Security basically told me to go fuck myself. So it's even more so now that I need to do this. But, you know, still, even if I was on Social Security, I'd kind of have to do this because Social Security does not pay enough to live on. Yeah, it's actually a very in-depth book, and it because it's a series, it actually is way more in-depth. Let's see here, I might want to show that. So thus far I will go ahead and share this out with you there, William, so you can see what I'm talking about. Here's what the ebook looks like. Chrome tab. Where the fuck did it get stuck? Damn it. Not Chrome tab. Can't do it that way. So we'll do the entire fucking screen. Right. So now you can see me. There's the rabbit hole. Here's the book. And I'm just, oh, that is not what I was doing. Damn it. Okay, here's the book. And I will try to consolidate this so that I could see around it. But this is the ebook, basically. I mean, it goes for days. There's a lot of book here. Each one of those little lines crossing it is a difference in perspective between individuals. And the double layer lines, like
No, not this one. Then hold on. That one, like this one here, would be a change in perspective between individuals. This one here would be a change between chapters. Okay. So you can actually see. And yeah, there's a page. 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 You know, it literally does go through like 5 or 6 or even 7 pages or 10 pages in some chapters. You know, so yeah, it goes for a ways. This is not just some small random ass book. It's a full on fucking novel. All right. So now we're back out of the rabbit hole. And we got out without getting our fluffy little tails dirtied too much. But yeah, I am literally going through the book, you know, book upload and all that. And the editing, which is the more important part, in my opinion. Editing's more important than the upload because edited, the book reads easier. It's you got to remember, I posted a lot of this directly to Reddit, and so it didn't get first, you know, withheld in my computer, and so I had to go back and grab stuff from Reddit that I'd already posted on Reddit and then put it back into the book where it's supposed to go. Let me tell you, it was a clusterfuck. But I've got to I got to get all this set up. The ebook should be something that's like available immediately, I think is what their rules were back when I first started out. It should be available immediately. But there if you're premiering a book, like you're premiering a series of books, like I am, then what will happen is you can pre-order the book, and then once the premiere time is over, then you actually get your personal copy. It's, you know, sent to you and whatnot. And if I can get the paperbacks going righteous and quickly enough, if things work out as I'm like hoping they will and expecting them to, I will probably do a tour coming up here in a couple of years where I go across the United States and I do book signings. And then maybe outside of the United States, if that's how well it works out. You got to remember, it starts in the United States because I'm in the United States and I'm an author in the United States. So it starts here. Okay. And it won't be exported, at least for a couple of years. Like I said, Sky Knight was an original concept book that has already been written by me and got put out there. But when it got put out there, it got put out under a pseudonym. It was put out under B. Pierce or Pryor or Brian Price or something. I used some dumb freaking pseudonym that I could never remember, and so now I can't recover the Barnes and Noble version of it. But this will be another Barnes and Noble book, but this is the enhanced version where it makes more sense once you've gotten into the rest of the series. Once you start reading through the series, the first book's going to make a lot of sense. But as a standalone, it's an all right read, but you're left wondering, like, wait, isn't there other parts to, there's got to be something else to this, you know? Whereas in the first time release of Sky Knight back in the early 2000s, I was competing with the last Harry Potter books at the time and the Hunger Games. And so you can kind of imagine how that went. I sold about 5 of them total. And I sold them to other authors. That's how that went. Like only other authors that were actually in Barnes and Noble at the time and noticed that that was a thing really picked up my book and said, yeah, I'll read it. Funny enough, that was way back when, and that was back before, you know, the actual inspiration for writing a full-on series came about. So it was tied off real neat with a bow, and you know, it wasn't all that pretty, and it was like hacked together, and you could tell that it didn't have substance. It wasn't a really good read. It wasn't, you know, the greatest read, I'll put it that way. It was a matter of, it's the same storyline, so-called, but I've added a lot of characters and I've added a lot of substance to the book. It's no longer, you know, 24 chapters long and, you know, maybe 2 or 3 pages per chapter, and looks like it's been written by a freaking teenager. I mean, yeah, there's still some parts of the original book stuffed into this book, for sure. Just because Sky Knight is it was a concept back then. Now it's an actual novel, and that's what I'm trying to put out there. And sorry, by the way, for making you dizzy, William. I know it was making me kind of seasick too. That being said, you know, there's not much you can do about it. I'm selling the book. I'm selling I think that I'm going to be releasing the first book and the second book like almost in sequence. You know, they're going to come out pretty much this year, both of them. They will both be out this year for, you know, purchased by the public. And that way you'll be able to see that, no, this is not just, you know, the original Sky Knight. It's the Sky Knight series. It's a whole series of books. What you were looking at there, William, was just the original. I mean, not the original, but just the first book. And that was only half of it that you saw. In fact, I don't even think that was half of it. I think that was more like a quarter of that book. So you can tell it's really fucking long. It's not just, you know, it's a pretty good book. It gets well over 40,000 characters. Matter of fact, if I was to look at it, yeah, I think it's probably in the 100,000 character range. So there's that. It's going to be like this thick when it's in paperback. I mean, I know it doesn't look like it, but it's going to be about like that thick. It'll be about an inch in paperback, just Sky Knight. I mean, the original Sky Knight book was like this. It was this little thin fucking cheese dick of a book, but it was actually honestly a pretty good read, even though, you know, it wasn't all that great. It was all right. This one's going to be way better. And it's going to be like, it won't be my my magnum opus. All right. It's not going to be my magnum opus. There'll be other books. This series won't be my magnum opus. Just putting that out there. This is just the lead up to it. My magnum opus is going to be another series of books, which is going to be actually, I haven't made that decision yet. I won't say that. It might end up being this is my magnum opus, and I work it. You know, I put more work into it, and I put more effort into it, like Tolkien did with, you know, the Middle Earth, you know, the Lord of the Rings series and whatnot. Lord of the Rings and Hobbit and Silmarillion and the Middle Earth universe. So maybe. I don't know yet. I'm making plans for the future, even though that's way the fuck off in the future. Right now I have 4 books, and I'm literally working on number 4. So that's how it's going to be. There's a lot of good book series out there, like, you know, incredible novels out there. I mean, let me put it this way. Mark Twain, you know what Mark Twain's magnum opus was, right? It was Treasure Island. He had a couple of others that were really, you know, big, thick, good, solid books, but Treasure Island was his magnum opus. Now, he also had a freaking plethora of dime store novels. If you had them all, you know, sitting in front of you, they're about the novel thickness would be about this thick. You hold them all in your hands like that. And then, you know, they're only about yay tall, you know, little booklets, pamphlet type booklets. You stick them all together and you'd have a thick freaking book. Well, he wrote all of those before he was really, you know, all that old. Then he turned around and he wrote Treasure Island, and people lost their fucking minds because Treasure Island was an amazingly well established, well set up book, had all the right stuff to it to make a great story. And it wasn't a dime store novel. It was, you know, this was a book that when you bought it, you were selling your horse to buy this thing. That's literally what that book was. It was expensive. So, you know, there's a lot of different series out there. The series that ultimately inspired this one was, well, inspired me to write a series, I'll say, was the books called Between Two Worlds. It's a 3-part series written by J.L. Williams. Feller, it's right here on the YouTubes and on the Reddit, you know. And he wrote that book and he put that out there. And I read that book a couple of times. You know, first and foremost, I read it on YouTube. And I had also cracked it. I was crazy ass me, right? I cracked this book sitting there in Barnes and Noble with nothing better to do because I was waiting for the end of the Harry Potter series to come out, and I'm just sitting there reading, you know. And lo and behold, it was a good fucking book. At the time, I was into, um, what would you fucking call that shit? It's not manga. It's not hentai. It's not any of the Japanese stuff, but at the same time, it's kind of like along the same lines. So it's just weird. It was one of those. There's a graphic novel. All right. I cracked it up. I was like, hey, this is a pretty fucking good book, just because of the where it goes in the book. It was great. So I says to myself, man, I need to write something like this. So I started with just one book, thinking, oh well, just one book. That's what I read there, and it was pretty good. It's just one book. And I wrote that book and I put it out there, and it was cheaply made and it was cheesy and it was stupid. But it was my first book, my first novel type book. So, and then I thought, I could do so much better than this. I do way better than this. Fuck it. I'll take care of it later. I'll do it later. So I went off and I did my life. I went and I got life experience. I went across the nation. I went up and down the nation. I sat down on the fucking California-Mexico border. I've traveled to and from Los Angeles to Salt Lake City several times on my own. I helped to ferry people across the United States a couple times just by my own little lonesome. And it gave me life experience. It got me out in the world and doing things and learning. And that gave me something to come back to, writing with. And then on top of that, with the other shit that I've done, gave me more perspective to make this book a lot more interesting. Because before it was just, a program from back in the 1980s that started off as a science experiment, and America did this, that, and the other, and then a strange occurrence happened where these people from another planet came to Earth and saw our technology because of the internet, the World Wide Web, and had access to it. They saw our technology and they wanted to make it their own. This is entirely different from that perspective. Okay, it's more of it wants to be between two worlds, but it's not. It's not. It's something different. It's got its own flavor. And it's a different universe anyways. The things that happen are just different, and they're more, it's actually, I hate to say this because the reality is that a lot of the different things coincide between the two stories. But there's more explanation of the science in my book. Just because I have that knowledge, there's more legends from ancient times that get rolled into my book. It's more inclusive of humanity in general. The other one with Jay's book, it's not that it's not inclusive of You mean this feller?
Yeah, here, if you can't see that. Yeah. I got the instruction manual, dude. But yeah, the book I'm writing is science fiction on a level of the fall of the planet Earth creates a um a larger um interplanetary union that then creates a opportunity for um humanity to expand into the galaxy and into the cosmos and show our true worth, which I'm just going to put this out there. The true worth of human beings in my story is our warlike nature, our capability for being inherently violent and being good at it. It's just a reality. We as human beings are good at killing. It's a reality. Just fucking get with it. We're good at killing. We're good at saving lives too. We're good at being loving and insightful and, creating technology and being inventive and investing in things that are lifelong pursuits and, perseverance. But we're really good at killing. So, that plays a huge part in this. We are in the book, we're like the ultimate fucking warriors. And we take on a predatory and parasitic empire of a different species that has already consumed half of the galaxy and is just destroying worlds as they go. It's just like that the hungry mist, you know what I mean? If you ever played Magic the Gathering, the hungry mist, it's the mist that eats everything. It just permeates everything and dissolves and devours everything. Buckshot. No. But I did read the fucking what's it? Rubber Band Legs and Tail Hairs by the Gray Ugly. Imagine that. Your fucking writing name is Gray Ugly. I mean, good Lord. Oh my gosh. No, I haven't written. I've never read anything from Buckshot. I've never even heard of the guy, honestly. But like I said, I've read some pretty out there fucking books. So, I like I said, I've used pseudonyms in the past for writing, and honestly, this book is going to be the one that I'd be more proud of having my name attached to it. So, on that level, I'm kind of glad that I did the previous one under a pseudonym, and I'm kind of glad that it got stolen because it wasn't even a good fucking book. It was crap. It really was. I mean, you could read it and not fall asleep reading it, but this book, I actually read this book while I'm sitting there proofreading it, and I get into the story.
So that's the kind of writing I like to do, that kind of just grabs you and gravitates you into the story and makes you want to be part of it. That's what I'm working on. So this new rendition of Sky Knight will be much better. It will be, I can read you some of it as kind of like a little bit of a something to look forwards to. If this comes in the third book. Let's see here. Where is it? Roping Archangel. 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's see here. I'll read you a couple passages. Oh, maybe I have read it and I just don't remember. It's just a matter of that's something that I used to actually like reading, was outdoorsy stuff. Now, mind you, this is on Mars proper. Okay, the actual planet Mars is where this particular scene takes place. For reference, hoppers are transport aircraft that go from space to ground and from ground to space. They are not a shuttle. A shuttle in this particular would be an armed transport. Okay. So you can keep up with what I'm going. As the hoppers touched down around New Gaia and the rank and file disembarked, they were greeted by their respective lieutenants. After rendezvous with the officers assigned to their corps, they each left for their individual assignments. The 43rd Platoon Bravo Squad was assigned to the Deep Insertion Ops mission of Mons Skyscopia. The high-value target was its strategic placement and its military hardware. If it hadn't fallen by the time they got there, they were to reestablish communication standards. This squad was comprised of Jasper Jinx Norton, Crystal Babs Meyer, Nadine Castle, Gerald Greasy Aldine, Katrina Trixie Lancaster, Jared Thumper Mace, Hector Monster Ortiz, and Marcus Mark Kane. They were known as the Dream Team, and they were about to earn their name. Driving 2 buggies across the desert surface, with only compression suits as protection against Mars' harsh gravitational anomalies and low-pressure storms that were still happening all around the planet, the squad split into 2 teams of 4 and would make ingress to Mons through either the southern gate or the western escarpment zone by rappelling to the nearest window and breaking the glass if it wasn't already broken. Olympus Mons being the largest volcano in the solar system, the buggies became necessary out of the sheer weight in rope, let alone the distance they had to travel to get there. They ran into a large problem upon nearing the dormant volcano. This came in the form of a crystal clear lake, which was so large it could have been sailed by a ship if it weren't mostly only a foot deep. The lake stretched for hundreds of miles and was dotted by islands and deep wells where craters resided under the surface of the water. Using a map from previous surveys of the planet, these hazards were circumvented, but it tripled the expected travel time. Olympus Mons had only been recently found to be a dormant and not extinct volcano. The new lava field had provided much of the building materials for the high-altitude outpost. Pumice and crushed obsidian worked to create an impermeable barrier to plasma and most conventional kinetics, but was vulnerable to hypervelocity artillery. As such, Mons Skyscopia had a multitude of defenses built right into the installation, as humans are wont to war and therefore build infrastructure with warfare in mind. The massive volcano made for a truly spectacular sight, as one could be driving on the crater rim and not be able to see the escarpments due to the nature of the mountain's sheer size. Climbing the slope from the north debris field of the Skyscopia quarry, Team 2 drove along the slope perpendicular to the crater, heading to the western escarpment. As they did so, Team 1 cleared the last 12 miles around the cliff face to the southern gates, driving along at a sedate pace as the lake completely surrounded the mountain. In the distance, near the gates, palmetto trees could be seen growing next to the main avenue leading to the steel gate. They had met with no hostile force and had seen no sign of life aside from these trees in the forests of Amazonas Planitia. My apologies. They had seen the images brought back from Polaris, and this had made them extremely uncomfortable all around. Having seen nothing and no sign of life aside from the recently planted forests, they moved in on the gates with caution, waiting for Team 2 to give the all clear and that they had achieved their position. Slowly approaching the gate security kiosk, Marcus held up an American flag pennant with a Soul infantry patch emblazoned behind the red stripes. The gates creaked and then began to move apart. If you want to hear more of that story, you'll have to actually buy the book. That's from book 3 called Archangel. But yeah, it's a little bit of a insight into what's going on. You know, they're fighting on a whole nother planet that has just recently been terraformed, and you know, water has fallen from the sky in one of the most spectacular instances of atmospheric condensing. You know, it's a phenomena that we see it all the time here on Earth, but on a planet like Mars, if you get enough atmosphere to be created on Mars, enough H2O in the atmosphere, what would happen is it would build and build and build and build until finally it could build no more. And then it would condense and immediately precipitate and cause the entirety of the surface of the planet almost to be covered in water. You know, some places would have more water than others, but you know, topographics. Anyways, that would also be a massive worldwide thunderstorm at the time. And I cover that in the book. That actually happens in that book. So, yeah. You guys are going to be in for a hell of a treat when this thing goes full on. It's a whole different story than the original Sky Knight. It's a whole different story. It takes humanity to beyond our wildest dreams of interstellar flight. You know, as of right now, we're already crossing the galaxy in this story, you know, in force, mind you. Other humans than, you know, Captain Price is going across the galaxy in force. Pretty soon, it's going to be humanity stretches out and some crazy smart motherfucking individual figures out how to go from galaxy to galaxy. It's coming. It is coming. So this is like in the next few decades, 150, 200 years. That's what the timeline is. Okay. So Thumbs way up, cross your fingers. It's going to come together real nice. And there will be something that actually drives humanity to go beyond. Just so we're clear, necessity is the mother of invention, and that's one of the rules of this book. So, funny enough, some of the things that Elon has come up with, and Elon himself, are in this book. Fucking funny, true. He actually is. He shows up in the book. Not in Sky Knight, not in the first four, actually. He shows up later on in the series. His technology shows up in Soldier of Heaven. But he shows up later on in the series. I think probably going to be like book 7, book 6, or book 7, somewhere's in there. But yeah, he shows up later on in the series as, an individual that really, in all reality, I think that's going to be one of those points of tension. Captain Price and Elon Musk are going to go head to head in their little escapade and get into a full-on technology war. And Elon is actually the guy who comes up with intergalactic travel. Just so you know. He actually he does it. He has a brainchild one night. An absolute brilliant moment of sheer just perfect mental mind factory that he's never had before in his life, because he was a great businessman, but he's not an inventor. Okay. He's not an inventor. He's a great businessman, but he comes up with this moment of absolute clarity, this perfection in his life, this perfection of pure thought that allows him to be able to do something that even Captain Price wasn't able to. Jump from galaxy to galaxy. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. There's some fucking wicked physics in it, too. When I say wicked physics, I mean, I go through explaining different weapons. I go through explaining different, just all sorts of different aspects in this book. It gets really interesting. So, lots of spoilers. Just going to tell you, I'm going to spoil a lot of the book for folks, but it's still going to be interesting how it ties in. It's not going to be like, oh, well, I know what happens in the book because he told me. No. Like I just said, they fight on Mars, right? But the depth that it goes into, I just read you that passage from one of the chapters of Archangel that really goes into depth about, the fighting on Mars, the first battle for Mars. So, yeah. Spoiler alert. But remember, that's only the first battle for Mars. Again, spoiler alert. So I've put a lot of work into these books, and I'm really excited because this is actually how it works for me. I get pretty fucking interested in just developing something outside of reality, because looking at reality right now if I were to be watching what the fuck is going on with all these dumbasses and not doing what I'm doing, let me just make things perfectly and abundantly clear. I would have already found a fucking tall ass building. I would have already jumped off the top of it because of the way the shit has been fucking going lately. That's why I'm writing these books. Yeah, that's the shit that's going on right now. So, yeah. I would love for these motherfuckers. I would love for them to take a break and go, maybe we shouldn't fuck. We shouldn't fuck with this guy. We shouldn't fuck with this country. Just shouldn't do it. Nah, they're not going to do that. They don't give a fuck about that. They don't realize that, you can only poke a bear with a stick so many times before he turns around and bites your head off. And they are poking this bear, I tell you. So I would have thought, hey, they would take time to sit there and just read my book instead. No, why go to war when, we can read about it? Well, fuck. Every time that I turn around to try and write write the series itself, because this happened back in the first fucking time I wrote out the story of Sky Knight, and like I said, it's entirely different now. I rewrote it. I had to rewrite it because I had to reimagine it. So it's a different book. But the first time I wrote the story by the name of Sky Knight, it was around the 2010, 2008 era when we started gut stomping Iraq and Afghanistan real hard. Hi, Andy. So yeah, every time that that I start writing a book, America goes to war. Is that kind of fucked up or what? It's like every time that I sit down and I start writing a book, America's doing something. I'm like, yo, chica, chill. So yeah, Andy, I'm sitting here, I'm plugging my book like fucking crazy. Because in short order here, I will be uploading and releasing Sky Knight, the new and improved version of Sky Knight in its entirety. I need to stop writing. I hear you, right? I hear you. I'm not going to stop writing. I can't. It's not good for me. So I'd be going ape shit on my own fucking country. All right, so let's do that, and then sure. So there's the if you look up here at the top, you'll notice I have the upload thing set up already for Sky Knight. And then, of course, I'm also working with Barnes and Noble and doing that. So that's where the book's going to be released, is through Barnes and Noble Press. Well, be safe. Much love, Indy. So here you go. As you can see, there's the title right there, Sky Knight. I'm starting to work on this, so it is just now starting. And yeah, we won't be the publication date won't be for a couple of months at least. So, anyways, yeah, my book. Woohoo. Yeah, there's a reckoning a coming. What was it that was said in the movie Tombstone? It was Wyatt ain't out for revenge or redemption. Nothing so holy as that. What he is looking for is a reckoning. Yeah, that's literally what's coming. There's going to be a reckoning. Whoa! Oh, fuck. I am getting too goddamn old for this shit. When I up, down, touch the ground, gets me in the mood. For when I up, down, touch the ground, in the mood for food. Yeah, in case you're wondering, that's about how I feel right now. That moment of ouch. Java. So, just so as you know, Houdini makes an appearance in the book. There's a few other little tidbits in that book, in this book, that are kind of, well, in this series of books, anyways, that are just, you guys are going to be actually kind of, you're going to sit there and you're going to circle little things in the book and be like, dude, Blade said this was here. Blaine said that was there. Blaine said that these things would be here, you know. And I already know what's going to happen. Like, folks are going to be like, hey, he said that that was going to be there. Earthquake. Oh, it wasn't a bad one. I just heard the rumble is all. But of course, now the signal drops. And I blame the yips, damn it. I blame the yips. The signal dropping was not my fault. Natural causes. It was an earthquake. So, any Hoosiers, I think I'm gonna end it here. All I've got to really say, as far as it goes, is when you're feeling down or you're feeling afraid, you reach deep and you grab that bigger set of balls. Be like Blaine in my book. All right. Be like Captain Price in my book. Be that motherfucker that, you know what? Fuck the bullshit. Fuck the fear. Just go straight at him. Nothing to be afraid of. Just take them out. Get it done. You know, that kind of attitude, like, because of those whom I love, I am the most evil individual because of the fact that I love. That evil does not consume me. That's who he is in the book. That's who I am in real life. So there you go. But yeah, no, I decided, I own the name Blaine. Might as well make him the fucking character, make him the anti-hero or the hero or whatever. Just don't make him the villain, I think he works much better as an anti-hero than as like the original one portrayed him as, which he wasn't even in the original one. But in the original one, the person that's based off of me is he's portrayed as a superhero, which I think is fucking retarded. Yeah. Look at that. Just portrayed as the anti-hero, because the reality is that humans are complex. We are complicated. There's nothing cut and dry and perfect about us. I mean, even me, and that's saying some shit, because I try to keep myself as to the letter, as cut and dry and perfect and proper and, exactly what people expect as I can. And even I am not perfect. Even I am not, cut and dry and to the letter and exactly what you expect. As a matter of fact, for some people, I'm so far from what you would expect that, I'm kind of ashamed of it. At the same time, I don't give a fuck because that's just me. But like I said, it's like one of those, some people would look at me and be like, "You piece of shit," and I'd be like, "Yeah, you're right. Whatever." Something that I'm working towards. So, as I said, I will be setting a date once I've gotten the editing done for Sky Knight, and then be releasing Sky Knight along with the second book in the series. So keep your eyes peeled. If you go to Barnes and Noble, I will be putting it out here on the YouTubes, by the way, the exact date and time, and the Barnes and Noble or, coffee shop or whatever that I will be doing my presentation at, depending on what's what. It depends on Barnes and Noble and their policy and how they see things and how they see fit. But I will be doing a meet and greet and a book signing if things come through appropriately. So there's that. It's, hopes for the future. Of course, nobody's going to want to hang around my ugly ass at the freaking Barnes and Nobles. So, you'll probably see this one guy sitting there with a stack of books in front of him, or, his computer sitting in front of him, and not look like much else. Maybe there'll be like a poster done up of the that's also on the books or something, or, the cover art for Sky Knight. And it'll be just one of those, wow, this guy's got to be an author. Huh. And like a lot of people just walk right past me. Who cares? It's their loss. This is a fucking good ass book. I'll probably, if you know what, there's an instance where I'm actually, it actually comes to fruition and there's the hardcover copies that are sitting there, I'll be sitting there reading a hardcover copy. Guaranteed. I'll be sitting there reading a hardcover copy with a stack of them next to me so I can sign them and sell them. That's the hope. That's the hope. It's always the hope, right? We smoke that hopium, bruh. Smoke it hard. There's another meme for you. Clip my last. Put it in a meme. You know how that shit works. I want to see it one day on Reddit. Smoke that hopium, bruh. Smoke that hopium. Some funny shit right there. So yeah, I'll be doing all sorts of shit, whatever I can. I will make it a point to work with them on some other things, maybe some props, if that's okay. If not, whatever. And posters, because marketing, it's half of the battle. I mean, let me put it this way. How many books have you heard of in the past, I don't know, 10 years that have gone as big as Harry Potter? Harry Potter's a household name across the fucking world. All right. Not a lot of people have actually heard of Between Two Worlds. I mean, yeah, there's a fair few. There's quite a few who have heard of the book Between Two Worlds. There's a lot of people that have heard of The Hunger Games because they made it into a movie. There's a lot of people that have heard of, the John Carter of Mars series because they made it into a movie. Could you imagine if they made Sky Knight into a movie? Could you imagine if they made Dedicated Minuteman or Archangel or Soldier of Heaven into a movie? I mean, it'd be one of those it's a good story. It's a good line. It's a good, it would make a great fantasy movie, to be honest. Great sci-fi fantasy movie. Especially when Blaine grabs, he grabs a hold of the glowing rock and all of a sudden his hands start catching fire without burning. And he can do all sorts of shit with his mind afterwards. It becomes a whole fucking different story, man. It goes well beyond what it already is, which is this guy is he's a monster. He's a soldier. He's a fucking a savior, a lover, a fighter, human. And yet immortal. It's a hell of a story. I get lost in it sometimes. I'm sitting there reading it. I'm like, why can't I be more like me in this? That's why it's a sci-fi fantasy. It's a sci-fi fantasy. What you would call a sci-fance? I don't know. There's parts of it that are kind of smutty. Hey, who doesn't like a little bit of sex in their fucking books, right? A good sex scene or a little bit of sexual tension, depending on the audience, makes for a great book. I mean, fuck, look at 50 Shades of Grey. There's so much sex in that book and so much sexual tension in that book that you would think it would be disgusting and you would not be able to read it and it wouldn't sell all that great. Lo and motherfucking behold. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying it's like this is much more than just a micro story. This is a novel. Full on novel. I need somebody as a salesman because I'm too long winded. I'll tell you that. It ain't going to be like, step right up, come get your copies, this, that, and the other, fucking the amazing, the wonderful, the savior of Earth, the Hound of the Rockies. Get your copy of Sky Knight today. I am not that kind of guy. I can't do that. I mean, yeah, you can see I could do that, but I do it sarcastically, so people are going to laugh. They're not going to come up and buy the book. But, make it into a movie. That would fucking, holy shit, that would be worth something. People be like, I want to read the book now. I mean, yeah, could you imagine? Already there are 3 different planets. All right. 3 different planets that have been a mainstay of the stories, of the storyline. And there's a 4th one in there somewheres that's a part of the storyline that will play a very large part later. And then there's another one that's going to be integral to the story itself and the storyline. And then a couple more planets that are just it's becoming a behemoth. And that's what you want to do when it comes to a series. You want the story to become this overweighty, heavy behemoth because it gives you a fleshing out for your storyline. As long as you don't miss your plot line, you don't stray from your plot line, your basic necessities of a plot line, then the extras build the story and they build the universe and they make it so that the story itself is wholesome and it's completely enveloping and you really get into the story. I mean, as a kind of a lead off, I started it off as kind of like, instead of the lead off in the original Sky Knight, which became the second part, funny enough, it almost in its entirety, it became the second part of the lead off of the book Sky Knight. The actual lead off of Sky Knight is introducing the main character and the main character's plight and fight and his quirkiness and little bits of character building right there that are just potent enough to make it so that you become engrossed in this character. And then it compounds from there. It builds from there and you get to really know the character and you feel like you know him as a person. And that's, by the way, mostly based off of my own self. In fact, most of the characters in this story are based off of me, but I digress. Hi, Tina. Nice to see you. I'm sitting here plugging the book. So, um, I've been thinking. I almost want to get my sister Jamie to do some artwork for me for the book. I mean, she's just so much better of an artist than I am. So much better of an artist. Just miles away better than me. And that's saying some shit. I mean, if you've seen some of my art, I mean, you know, that's not too bad. But she is miles away from, way better than me. So I wish she would. I really do. I think that she could make it, she could make a hell of a good bit of cover art. Whereas, my cover art would be, it'd be all right. And it would have that kind of just jumps out at you and grabs a hold of you, rather than what's his name? God, what was his fucking name? I had another person do the artwork for the original book, and funny enough, it looks like one of those manga characters, the weirdly smooth face with the Goku hair, and and a set of bionic wings that look more like actual wings than they've got feathers, and it's kind of stupid when you're talking about uh cybernetics. So anyways, yeah, anime. There you go. Anime. But yeah, I can't remember what his name was, but he did the artwork for the original. And it's pretty good it's a pretty good picture, but it doesn't compare to my little sister's artwork. It really doesn't. I mean, just for shits and giggles, you guys can see Stitch right here. If I can get that angle right there. Yep, there we go. You can see Stitch. That's my sister's oil painting. Stitch. It's an oil painting. Really not a bad one either. But I will go ahead and show y'all real quick. A portrait that my little sister Jamie made, if I can get to it. Oops. Way back in here somewhere. Aha. Alien Queen. So got to get out of this room before I can even show it because of sensitive shit in there. All right, here you go. That's my sister Jamie's artwork. Okay, this is what I mean when I say she does way better artwork than me. Okay. That's why I think she should do the artwork for Sky Knight. She is amazing when she does artwork. I'm not that great. I mean, I'm okay, but a pencil, Yeah, she's really talented on the level of, you know, that woman needs to actually have a fucking art gallery of her own, because that's how talented she is. She outperforms me in talent, like well beyond me. Well beyond me. I've got one oil painting in this house that I did when I was younger, and of a beach, you know, a landscape, a beachscape. And then I've got my, you know, a few drawings that are from me, you know, like what I was going to do for cover art for Dedicated Minuteman, which is this one. They call that a bisection. Okay, you can see there's two different sides to it. But yeah, they call that a bisection. It's a half of a portrait on one side and a half a portrait on the other. Oh, and oh yeah. Let me see here. Not there. Fucking what? I must have lost it. I really did lose it. Huh. Okay. Yo. Shit. Nope. 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 Okay. So, yeah, I don't have it out here. I do all right artwork. I mean, I do more design artwork, like doing for like visualization and whatnot. For instance, I'll take you back to my room, the inside of my actual room in this house. This is what I do. If you can kind of see that. Visualization art, which is to say it's basically schematical drawing. You know, making things for, you know, spaceships and thought processes behind things I've designed, and like for instance concept art for my warp drive. This is actually one of the pieces that is important to the warp drive. Yeah, they're basically blueprints for a machine that will probably never be built. Actually, be funny, but as you can see, yes, I invented something. These are all blueprints for a kinetic energy warp drive. Funny enough, most of the stuff comes from me studying the old, you know? Yeah, I can't do that. They won't patent it. I tried. Apparently, it looks too close to another patent, so their computer system denies my patent outright. It won't even let them authorize the patent because the computer just gets confused. So, any Hoosiers, don't know if you've ever seen this before. This is my artwork. That's actually me doing that when I was much younger. That shit right there is actually what I've got on my shoulder. That's what I was looking for before. So yeah, they won't let me patent my own ideas. So I just said, fuck it. You know what? I'm going to have somebody else get inspired and have them make it, have them make something similar to it. And then that way, at least the idea got out there. Because that was my original idea, to try and make my legend and, be somebody in the world, is to engineer technology based off of my understanding of physics and, aid the human race in traversing the stars and shit like that. Instead, So, what's my book about? Since you were late coming to the party there, Tina, I will explain it. It's about little old me, but kind of like a reading rainbow. I still fucking giggle when I think about that shit. It's you ever watch the Reading Rainbow? How they would insert the narrator into the story and then, animate it on the screen for you. It's kind of like that, but in your own mind. Whereas I'm the character in the book. So it's about what if, what if something happened, and it was what if, Earth was invaded. And I'm just sitting here dilly fuckering around, with the old doobly doo on the YouTubes and screw what, and playing around and goofing off and, doing that thing. And all of a sudden, these aliens come marching in my back door, and they're trying to kill me, and they hurt Houdini. And so I lose all control. I become something else, and just the efficiency and the level of aggression and becoming the monster, and then dialing that monster back. And then the next part is the part of the book where we get introduced to the top Sky Knight, the best Sky Knight of the entire Space Jumper Corps. And then once we've got that introduction to her, because let that blow your mind, it's a she. She ends up coming down and getting captured by our main protagonist. Well, not our main protagonist. Our main character. All right, our anti-hero. And then ends up falling in love with the guy. So then he goes and overextends himself, and trying to just be a good human, a good person, just trying to be a righteous human being, and realizes he's overextended. And so he tries to stop the bloodshed rather than adding to it. And in doing that, he becomes a weapon for an entire other species of, an entire other sentient species of interstellar travelers. In this, he also becomes ingrained in their culture because he is, crazy enough, he's genetically altered due to unfortunate happenstances in his life beforehand. So because of his genetic alteration, he can't have children. He can't make children with his own species, but he can with this alien species, which is weird as fuck. I'll give you that. But at the same time, he comes into his own and understands what it is to be a father and how important it is to protect that. And it lends to the building of the story into which he's willing to go and fight in and win wars that are not even having to do with his own little sphere of influence, but rather the fact of the matter is that if he does not fight these wars, he realizes that one day his children will have to. His children will be caught up in this and in this violence. And so he has to go and do this. And so he goes across the cosmos fighting these wars and, pushing away all of the enemies to his children and to his way of life and to, the planet that he calls home. And when all's said and done and he comes back and all that, he's greeted as a hero, but his mind won't let him be the hero. So instead, he teaches people to be like him. And you can actually see all of that character building in the opening act of the book Sky Knight. It's just that the story that comes afterwards allows you to really understand the opening scene of Sky Knight. So, and yes, it's got a lot of inspiration from Marvel. It's got a lot of inspiration from what was it? The story From Earth. It's got a lot of inspiration from the story Between Two Worlds. It's got a lot of inspiration from the story Dungeons and Dragons, actually. I mean, it gets crazy, man. Whew. Good question. Honestly, I want to say that the guy's been backed into a corner because I don't think that anybody's stupid enough to threaten nuclear warfare with the United States of America. Nobody is that stupid. Yeah, Nord Stream. I know what you're talking about. I don't think anybody on the face of this earth, including, Vladimir, is stupid enough to pick a nuclear dick measuring contest with the United States. Yeah, he's got more nukes. Yeah, he's got bigger nukes. America has the ones that we can literally drop down your chimney and have them blow up in your fireplace. So, like I said, nobody's stupid enough to pick a nuclear dick measuring contest with the US. It's just that the US is been the biggest bully on the block for so long, we don't know how to contain that. We don't know how to keep our pride tucked. That's one of the reasons why I have been writing this book as kind of like to showcase the borderline irritating, zealous pride of us, we Americans. We are very prideful. Given that was earned. Okay? Just so we're clear, if you think that we're being prideful because we're just fucking bigoted assholes, fuck you. That shit was earned, damn it. That shit was earned over fucking 80 years ago. But it's been earned continuously since. We are prideful for good reason. That being said, I think I do acquiesce that we're a little too prideful. What would I say if I were planning an attack? Okay, completely theoretical. If I were planning an attack, one, I would not say I would be using nuclear weapons. Two, I would not say a fucking thing about an attack. Instead, I would literally drop ordnance from the edge of space. Kinetic bombardment ordnance. Fuck your problems. And when all's said and done, then I would say, I warned you. See, that's what I mean. This is all posturing. Just a bunch of posturing. I'm not scared until politicians start getting quiet. That's when it's time to get scared. That's when you should be digging a fucking hole in your backyard, is when politicians start getting quiet. Not look over here, look over here, look over here, look over here. You know, don't look at right here. Just keep looking over at these two spots. No. When they shut up and don't say a fucking word, when they turn around and walk off of the press stage, then you need to be fucking scared. That's when you need to be afraid. This bullshit of this could lead to nuclear conflict, or, you know, this could be seen as a war crime, or this could, that could, whatever, blah, 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 blah. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. Fuck that bullshit. When they walk away and they don't say a fucking word, that's when you need to be terrified. Because that's the reality of it. If you're planning an attack, if you're planning to start World War III, you're not going to tell anyone at all. You are not going to tell a soul what you are doing. Because, hey, you might want to survive for a few more days. Just saying. If I were planning a nuclear attack, I would literally disappear. You'd never see me again. Honest to God truth. Completely gone. Not, oh, well, I'm going to have to get off of the YouTubes and offline because, you know, shit's been happening. No. Just one day you wake up. Where'd Blaine go? No, he'll be back in a couple days. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a year, 2 years, 3 years. No sign. But, about 6 months after oh boy disappears, all of a sudden there's this fucking mushroom cloud over Moscow. You see my point? You wouldn't say a fucking word and you'd leave it off so that there's no way that anybody would make a mental correlation between you and the instance. That's what I'm saying. You would not say anything if you're planning an attack. In fact, you would not even, you'd try to make it so that there was no correlation whatsoever. And that's why I don't like going over that shit, because it makes people go, ooh, scary. That's a fucking scary thought, man. I need to go get my blankie now. Yeah, if you need your blankie, you better suck on your thumb, son, because I burnt that motherfucker last night. I'm just kidding. Little bit of jokes, throw it in there, trying to lighten the load. You know, because reality is, I think that nuclear weapons are stupid. I'm just going to say that. I think they're actually the worst option. They shouldn't even be an option. They shouldn't even be on the table, because we have weapons now that can do what a nuclear weapon can do. Okay? So we don't need them for their explosive force. The only reason to be utilizing them is for an area denial weapon. But if you're going to use an area denial weapon, then you've already lost the fight to the point where you don't want any other living creature, down to a bacteria, to live in that area. It's so simple. You realize that the top of the islands where they dropped Ivy Mike at didn't grow back for almost 2 decades. This is what I'm saying. Area denial weapons are retarded. There is no reason for them. None. It is literally for making it impossible for life to even take hold. There's no reason to have area denial weapons, in my opinion. There's no reason to have radioactives utilized in weaponry. At the most, they should be utilized as a highly efficient energy source. That's at the most. And even that's pushing it. All right. You know, nuclear reactors for power generation, we've seen where that goes. Fukushima, 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl. You see where I'm going with this. You know, we've seen where that goes. It can create even worse disasters than the weapons themselves. Of course, for things like space travel and interstellar space travel, you have to have that kind of energy density to be able to do that kind of travel. So, is there a place for that? Yes. But it's not in warfare or anywhere where you would be fighting a war. So, as far as nuclear arsenal is concerned, they couldn't make me happy by fucking dropping them into the sun. They just couldn't. It would not make me happy. Mostly because I understand the physics behind it, and so I understand that would be a mistake. It's a matter of there is no good excuse for utilizing nuclear weaponry. None. No good excuse. It's great to theorize about it. It's fun. All right. Physics is fun, and it can be absolutely amazingly fun. But it can also be incredibly scary. I mean, for instance, there's a weapon in my novel, in my story, in my book. Go back and plug the book real quick. Actually in the series, it shows up around Archangel. The book denotes why it's a bad idea to be making weapons of mass destruction. It literally walks through the Cold War. It details how we as humanity almost ended ourselves and everything on Earth. And it was only through the actual realization that nuclear proliferation is wrong. It's only through that realization that we were even able to reach for Mars, that we were even able to be around when the Empire of Valor landed on Earth. That's how that goes in the book. So, it's a matter of future possibilities are there. Do you really want to take them away? Because you might live to see it if you don't. Otherwise, you are playing a very dangerous game. And it's one where nobody wins. Not just where you might lose or your opponent might lose, but everybody loses. Down to the bacteria on the planet's surface. And then also all the life in the sea, because that's what happens. Get enough radiation going around and nothing lives. So nuclear weapons are not, they cannot be our go-to. They cannot be our last resort. They cannot be in any portion of warfare, because to do so is to consign our entire species and every species on this planet to stellar dust. And there's no guarantee that life will happen again on this planet. Sure, it's happened 4 times in the history of this planet. Okay? Yes, that's 4 times that life has regained a foothold on this planet. Going back through the almost 6 billion years of the solar system's existence. Our planet, which has been around for about 4 billion years, in the past 2 billion years, 4 times life has cropped back up on our planet. That's not saying much. It just basically says it's a really good environment for life to exist. That doesn't mean that it didn't start off with one individual bacterium that came from somewhere else. You got to remember, this might be the final run. Nobody knows. You can't be certain of it. So taking those kinds of risks outweigh the benefits by leaps and fucking bounds. We cannot be playing around with nuclear weapons. We cannot be sitting there saying that they are a viable option in any kind of warfare. Chemical weapons, they're still fucked off. They're still not good, but it's still better than a fucking nuke. Biological weapons, it's still life. All right? There's still life involved. Nuclear weapons negate all of that. All of it. Like I said, it took 25 years for Bikini Atoll to even start having palm trees growing on it. That's coconut palms, okay, that flowed across the freaking ocean from the other atolls and floated onto the shoreline. Took 25 fucking years for them things to take root. Today, there are coconut palms. There's a couple of sawtells. There's a couple of, saw palmettos. There's a couple of, there's grass that has been planted there after the fact. And it's still so radioactive there that no human being and no animal can live on the island for longer than 5 fucking minutes. They literally went to the island to make the documentary on this. They stepped onto the island, walked over, took their readings, and then walked off of the island and actually had to get a full scrub down, waxing and all of that fun shit, peel off a layer of skin from the outside of their bodies to get the radioactive dust out of their pores and out of their skin from being on the island. It's still that radioactive. It won't be safe to live on for another 90,000 years. I want you to think about that for a second before, you go saying, well, maybe we should just nuke the bastards. That island will not be habitable for 90,000 years. Meaning that you will not be able to stay overnight on the island for another 90,000 years. Nukes are not for warfare. They have their uses, and they are very few and very far in between. And they're only supposed to be for like very specific uses. Like I said, energy, damn near unlimited energy, but energy. All right. There's no reason to be having nukes. Hey, Magic. Good to see you, buddy. Majik. I had to do it. Get you some Java, brother. Yes, this is the Freedom Forum. Yeah, we don't need a nuclear war. Humanity has so much potential that playing around with nuclear weapons would seem like for those of you who have ever seen the movie Karate Kid, that would have been like as if Mr. Miyagi had looked at Ralph's character. I can't remember his name now off the top of my head. But it would have been as if Mr. Miyagi turned around to him and said, "No teach you fighting, go get gun." You know? Wasted all that potential of martial arts and all of that knowledge that he had and told the kid to go get a gun and just deal with the bullies with a gun. It would have negated the entire reason for learning karate. It would have negated the entire storyline of the Karate Kid, and it would have ruined his potential. And it would have ruined his life for the rest of his life because he wouldn't have been defending himself against a bunch of bullies who were only using their fists. He would have been a murderer. You see the difference there? They weren't coming at him with firearms. They were just coming at him with fists. In that respect, he would have been utilizing more power than was considered necessary. And in some circles, especially Fresno, California, fucking goddamn commies. Anyways, he would have ended up in prison for the rest of his life. So it would have been a complete waste of potential. In the same respect and regard, utilizing nuclear weapons would waste humanity's potential. Our potential to go to the cosmos, to be part of these interstellar and intergalactic species that we know have to exist. The numbers alone, okay? The numbers alone state that us being alone in the cosmos is impossible. So there you go. Huh. Yeah, I'm pro-Ukrainian, I'm not I'm not Biden's bitch. I'll put it that way. But I'm all for the Ukrainians because of the fact that they didn't ask to be attacked. All right. They didn't ask to be attacked. They were attacked. Now, that being said, does that mean that I hate Vladimir Putin for initiating the attack? No. I don't hate the man at all. He's just another human being. His life made him think one way. Okay? My life made me think another way. I do believe that there is one thing that me and him can agree on, and that is nuclear weapons should never even enter the conversation when conflict arises. Shouldn't even enter the conversation. In fact, if I were in his shoes, the person who would suggest nuclear weapons to me would absolutely get a fucking KGB special. But that being said, I'm not in his shoes. I am not Vladimir Putin. I am not Russian in Russia, okay? He's a patriot of Russia. And he believes in, he's a patriot of, honestly, the Soviet Union, but it's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is that I have to believe that we both see eye to eye on this. And that is that if somebody suggested nuclear weapons to me during a conflict of that kind, that motherfucker would get a KGB special. They'd take him out back, put two in his chest and one in the back of his skull for good measure. Yeah. Here's something that we both believe in there, man. They should have independence from both sides. Ukraine should not have to fucking deal with Russia invading them, and they should not have to deal with fucking NATO being up their ass like, we gave you all this help, we gave you all these weapons, now you need to do this or you're going to end up being invaded by us. Fuck the bullshit. Miss me with that. The fucking drama is elsewhere, bruh. It not even only elsewhere, it should not even exist. That's some bullshit. So, yeah. I'm just trying not to get into this. What can I say? Of course, people are going to ask me, what do you think about Ukraine? It's because I'm a real fucking Minuteman, not somebody who's LARPing. Yeah, my views on Ukraine are very simple. You children, pack your shit up and go home. Because if this really means this fucking much to you, if killing each other means this much to you, go fucking swallow your own gun. Stop making the rest of us have to swallow it, Because while you point nuclear pistols at each other, we're the ones downrange. While you point biological pistols at each other, we're the ones downrange. You see my point, right? The big three are, against the Hague Convention for a fucking reason. All right, they're not there in the Hague Convention because of a whim. It's because what is possible, pardon me, what is possible with these weapons is genocide. And I mean genocide in the truest sense of the word. I mean, I want you to imagine for a moment if Nazi Germany had the bomb. Before America even knew it was possible, or before America had started working on it. I want you to imagine Germany had the bomb. Not only did they have the bomb, but they used it in order to further the final solution, as it were. That's what I mean by genocide. These weapons are capable of that. Yeah, Hitler used gas because it was cheap and economical. Imagine how much more so it would be cheap and economical to just move a whole bunch of people into one big ass city and then drop a nuke on it. Y'all wonder why I don't live in a city? This is what I mean by nukes should never be on the table. There's too much potential for massive catastrophe. Ukrainians are the victims, but they're not allowing themselves to be victims. If you know what I'm saying. They're the victims in this. They're the ones who didn't have any say in it, but they just fucking ended up having to deal with the shit. But at the same time, they're not pussing out. They're not fucking, backing down and saying, oh, well, yeah, okay, whatever. You go ahead. I'm sorry. They're not doing that shit. They're not playing the victim card. They're playing the fuck you, you came here. Time to stomp your dick in the ground. That's the card they're playing. So, do I think Ukrainians are victims? No. Do I think that they are the victims in this particular conflict? Yes. Any Hoosiers. I have been at this for 3.5 hours. I think I'm gonna call it. And so yeah. Time of death is 10:52. And it's been nice. Thank y'all for coming by and hanging out and having fun at the Freedom Forum. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good day. Go out there, have fun, and please watch out at your local Barnes and Noble within the next coming 6 months for the series of books by the author Blaine Price titled Sky Knight. And y'all have a good day now. I am Yeo Guardsman and motherfuckers. I am out.